When maintaining your daily wellness rituals is important to you, the change in routine during the summer can feel daunting. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual, even when you're on the go. Just one packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and much more. So you'll be fueled and ready for wherever life or your summer adventures take you. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the good stuff your body craves. Plus, it actually tastes delicious. But you can try it for yourself because the variety pack includes all 6 delicious fan favorites: chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, coconut acai, and strawberry. So instead of worrying about sticking to your daily ritual, simplify it with Kachava. Go to kachava.com and use code FITNESS for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
What up, what up? Stormy, Buonantony, Dustin, Swedelson with you back here on Money Moves. Going to dive into a little NFL conversation as the OTA season kind of rolls on, and we're seeing more and more players and coaches hit the podium. We'll play a little sound for you, talk through some of the hot button items going on. Also, did want to point out to you, Dustin, Colin Murphy tweeted at us, said, I think when Dusty is filling in on Money Moves, we need to change the name of the show to Dust Storm.
I don't hate that. Well, he showed his receiver in his car on Sirius XM. Both of our last names are too long for them to fit it into the pad.
That's funny.
That's the problem, is when we're together. So he's referencing that JJ, John Jastrzemski, we both have worked with and love, he kept calling me Dusty on the show. But fun fact that people don't know, my whole family calls me Dusty.
Really?
Yeah, like it's more of like it started out as like a Dusty, like just joke. Every time I would do something that bothered them, they're like, Dusty, come on. And now everyone just calls me Dusty, so.
I like that.
Yeah.
My name, is already a 2-syllable, ends in a Y.
They shorten
Sounds like a nickname anyways. Yeah, I get Storm. Or JVT has tried to integrate, elongating my name as if Stormy is short for Stormathy or Stormantha.
I was going to go Stormonulus or something like Greek sounding.
Stormelia. There's definitely some options there. But it's tough when your name already sounds like a nickname. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's tough. But I got to tell you, everyone remembers your name, though.
That's not a good thing always.
Having the name Dustin growing up was weird because you would go to a store and you'd go to your friend's house like Adam. I had a million friends named Adam or David or Michael. And you'd go to the room and they'd have stuff with their name on it. My parents, like your parents, could never walk into a store and go, I'd like to get this thing with my kid's name on it because it doesn't exist. And there's not even a good story why I'm named Dustin. Literally, Dustin Hoffman was the best actor at the time when I was born. My parents were like, I kind of like that name. Let's name him Dustin.
Have you ever seen, I think that it was an SNL skit years ago that Jimmy Fallon and Channing Tatum were doing together, and basically Channing Tatum is dressed up like a teenage girl and they're having a slumber party. Is this ringing any bells? It could have been on the Fallon show.
This might have been your fantasy.
No. God, Channing Tatum dressed up as a teenage girl is my fantasy. That's a weird fantasy.
I don't judge.
However, they're doing this cute or not cute thing, and they all of a sudden bring up Dustin.
I vaguely remember this.
Because Dustin Hoffman, cute. He's a very talented actor. Anyways, let's get into the NFL.
By the way, 103 days, 5 hours, 17 minutes, and 15 seconds to kick off.
Wow, look at you.
103 days, that's not that many days.
It's going to come up fast. It really is.
It's funny, we talk about, baseball's going to carry us in the summer. We still got the finals still to come in the NBA. I think we underestimate how few days it is.
Sure.
It's 3 months.
And quite frankly, the interest too, because you'll have people that are saying, oh, we've got all this baseball on. Why are you talking so much NFL futures? Because more often than not, people want it.
No, because nobody cares about baseball. We'll just be very transparent about it. Baseball is my favorite sport.
Well,
I bet baseball every day. I watch baseball all night long. I love baseball. The general masses would rather you talk about the NFL offseason than current baseball games going on.
And is this not Exhibit A? The fact that we have been talking about this A.J. Brown departure from the Eagles, going to New England for how long now? But the June 1st, post-designation stuff is coming up. We're just a couple days away. Monday will be that time that it's back up in the air once again. We're seeing all of these reports that Brown is expected to go to the Patriots as early as this coming week. A lot of the reports have been that New England is not willing to give up a first-round pick, but then you see a report from The Athletic that insider Chad Graff wrote in his article, a 2028 first-round pick seems like a better compromise. So 2028, looking ahead another year, says that way the Eagles would still get the pick they covet. The Patriots would kick the compensation down the road. Best case scenario, according to Graff, for the Patriots, would likely be some sort of conditional pick headed to the Eagles as well.
Yeah, I mean, this has kind of been shown to be what's happening here when you think about the offseason that the Eagles have had, right? They draft Makai Lemon, who's going to be similar to a JSN type, right? So because of that, you have to assume A.J. Brown is on the move. They also brought in Hollywood Brown as a potential reclamation project. They brought in Dontavian Wicks, maybe as an upside play. They're covering all their bases here in the anticipation of from moving on from A.J. Brown. In terms of the package, whatever it is, it is. I think we've reached a point in Philadelphia where whatever you can get for him, I think that's what you get for him. And for New England, I think they should pay the highest price anyway. It's a perfect fit. The only question I have is, does Mike Vrabel's illegitimate son, potentially from the affair with, allegedly, Diana Rossini, because you got to say allegedly, or else people think you get sued here. Allegedly.
They're definitely going to go for Dustin Swedelson of all the people to sue.
You know what? Based on my life and my track record, when words come out of my mouth, usually bad things happen. It's weird I do this for a living. I'm very curious. I don't know if they have to give up a first rounder. I really don't. I wouldn't. I'd say we know it's a dysfunctional relationship. We know he doesn't want to be there.
It's not a secret.
You don't want to use him anymore. Why would I give you a first round pick? I'll give you a second. Give you a second. That's an impact player. You're the Eagles. You're Howie Roseman. You're great at drafting.
He's going to wheel and deal. They will be fine. Your point is made, though, of what they were able to bring into this wide receiver room. I think Devontae Smith is poised and ready to be wide receiver one, right? Like, he's been biding his time, and this is his moment now to step up. Eagles' big picture, okay, I see that look on your face. That tells me what I need to know.
A little. Look,
is this a Jalen Hurts thing?
Yeah. So my big problem with Jalen Hurts is I think people misconstrue accuracy and a high completion rate and think they're the same thing. Jalen Hurts is not an accurate quarterback. He doesn't throw with touch. He doesn't throw with anticipation. He doesn't hit guys in stride. He can't fit the ball into tight windows. But if you have a good offensive coordinator like Kellen Moore, you can scheme things up for him, like Shane Steichen did with him when they went to the Super Bowl and lost. If you can be creative and put him in situations to be successful, you can get a lot out of him. And I would say Makai Lemon is a better fit as a receiver than A.J. Brown is for the style of quarterback Hurts is. Because what you have with A.J. Brown is a guy you need to take shots with downfield. Well, that means 50-50 balls. That means back shoulder throws downfield because you're going to utilize his speed. Makai Lemon reminds me of Amon-Ra St. Brown. A lot of stuff near the line of scrimmage. He's a physical receiver. He breaks tackles. He's kind of a hybrid to me between JSN and Amon-Ra St. Brown. You feed him the ball 6 to 10 times in a game on short stuff. Let him do the dirty work. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to be that accurate because it's 15-yard throws.
Just don't let Makai Lemon on the podium anymore. I can't whatever that was at the combine, I can't see it anymore. Let's go out to Washington here because obviously, their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, dealt with an injury-riddled season last year. It's the knee sprain, the hamstring, then the elbow, and it felt like it was just all off all year. And that after, because of the way that his previous season had gone, expectations just through the roof, short odds in just about every category. This year, expectations clearly very tempered by the market for his individual odds for the Commander. I mean, this is a 7.5 win total team right now. They're the third shot in the NFC East behind the Eagles and Cowboys. But Jaden Daniels was asked yesterday about how he feels motivation-wise, how he feels body-wise coming out of last season. Take a listen.
It left a bitter taste in my mouth from last year and just how everything played out. So you kind of just go in that off season and just figure out ways to mentally get better physically and emotionally and everything. So, I mean, it sucked. It wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was like what I wanted or it was fun for me because I love football and I love it. But the passion didn't change. I mean, it just made it more kind of like a miserable feeling not be able to go out there and do what I got to do on a daily basis without having setbacks.
Do you feel like you have anything to prove this year?
I mean, I don't think in this profession, if you got something to prove, if you don't feel like you don't got something to prove, then you shouldn't be doing it. So that should answer your question, yeah.
I disagree with the market. I like they're over.
Okay.
I think I'm very bullish on them. I'm bullish on the Giants to go over their win total. I think this division is only getting better. Look, put Jaden Daniels to the side. We know what he is. We know the running ability. He's a really accurate passer for a young quarterback, and I think that's going to translate here, even though the weapons aren't that sexy. Although I would say this, Chikakonkwo coming over from Tennessee at tight end, that is a big addition. He is a really good tight end, and he's put up a ton of production with bad quarterback plays. The key of the Washington season is the defense. The defense is totally different. It's been revamped, and this is what you do if you are a smart organization. You have a young quarterback on a rookie contract. What do? Load up on defenders, condense the game, lower the score, rely on his legs and the run game and the read option, kind of everything they should have done when Robert Griffin III was there. Tim Settle at nose tackle coming from Houston, I think is going to be awesome. They brought in Owe as an edge rusher. They drafted Sonny Styles, who's a Swiss Army knife, and he goes to the perfect coach in Dan Quinn, because Dan Quinn is the guy who looked at Micah Parsons in Dallas as a defensive coordinator and said, you're not just a edge. You're not just a linebacker. You're a hybrid. He's going to put him in a great situation to succeed. Chasson's a solid outside linebacker edge. The secondary needs to get a little bit better, but there's a lot of young guys that should be able to improve. I think their linchpin of this team is that their defense is going to make it a lower scoring game. The burden will not be on Jaden Daniels to be in shootouts, and instead they can run that offense that they want to run with him. I am very much into the Washington Commanders this year.
Okay. Again, that win total, 7.5. It is minus 120 on the over. They're 5-1 in the NFC East, 30-1 to win the NFC. Plus 220 to make the playoffs, I think, is an attractive bet as well.
That's what I had pulled up here.
Yeah.
They're plus 220. The Giants are plus 250. I think one of them, if not both of them, can make the playoffs.
Okay. Coincidentally, as we talk about these two teams in the division, the Commanders and Eagles, they face off week 1, September 13th. Philly, a 5.5-point home favorite in that spot, total 46.5.
Ooh, under all the way, under 46.5.
And a reminder, too, now that we have these full schedules out and everything, Circa has officially opened up their contests, and you look behind us on the screen, they have the updates on how many have gotten into the Grandissimo, the Circa Million, Circa Survivor contest. And while you do have to sign up in person here in Vegas, you can play from anywhere throughout the country if you have the right proxy service, and Winner's Circle Proxy is our preferred proxy here at VSiN. One trip to Vegas, play all season long from anywhere. You can schedule your appointment today at winnerscircleproxy.com. We got to step aside. Keep it locked right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools. But what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. VSiN Pro gives you access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, Moves Friday edition of the program. Getting pumped for a fun weekend. Stormy Buonantony, Dustin Swedelson with you, and we're going to kick off the weekend right on the ice tonight. Game 5 in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Canes with an opportunity to close out the series with Montreal. They are big favorites to do so and potentially storm surge their way to the Stanley Cup final for the first time in 20 years. Dustin, how are we feeling?
I want Montreal.
I know
want
you
it.
do.
I want the juicy price.
I know
what everyone's saying. They're out of steam. They're out of gas. I think they got one last chance. Look, when my grandmother died in my parents' house, it's going to get really dark. There was a moment where she was gone, and then her body lifted up and made a noise, and then died again. That's the Montreal Canadiens. It's a thing that happens. I don't know what the term is, but when bodies die, like they'll like give out one last burst of oxygen or energy or something. That's what we're looking at with the Canadiens. They're not completely dead yet. You cannot rule them completely out of it. I do think you get one last shot because also they've been road warriors. Let's be fair about Montreal. 7-3 record on the road, saw this trend making the rounds. You've got a team in, I have it written down somewhere else. I thought I had it in these notes. But
Carolina
basically teams that lose game 6, I do believe, I don't remember what it is now. I guess I didn't write this trend down.
I was just going to say Montreal specifically has bounced back to win back-to-back Game 7s in the first 2 rounds of the postseason. They have been great off of a loss. I believe, if I remember correctly, that the last time Montreal lost 3 in a row was like November. So they are in a position that they haven't been in a long time. You found it?
Shout out to Killer Sports. Shout out for screenshots on your phone, by the way. I don't know if you're like me.
Yes,
my whole
all the
phone
time.
is just screenshots of stuff for the show.
I feel like once a month I go back and delete them so that I actually have my real pictures, but yes.
NHL favorites of more than -230 up 3-1 in a series, or just 11-13 straight up?
In that following game?
In that following, well, no, just favorites of -230.
Oh, okay. Listen.
Up 3-1, yeah.
I understand the argument, and from a price point perspective, there's no way you can bet Carolina. Like, I have no interest in laying -250.
I think that is like the healthiest betting thing that anyone can say, is you're not just betting it because you like it. You're not betting it. You're betting it on principle, that it's a 2-1 price with your season on the line. You're going to get the best effort. You have to imagine these dudes are not going to lay down and die. You're betting the number, not just the situation, not the team, not the X's and O's. It's an opportunity to get over 2-1 on a team straight up that's going to give you everything they have left in the tank. So
I said this on a numbers game with Gil and Kelly earlier today, that if you're playing the side one way or another, that's the only way to do it. Yet, I don't believe in it. Like, I'm not betting Montreal today. If you're betting it, I think it's a numbers play. Because even if Montreal comes out hair on freaking fire, what does that mean for them? Like 20 shots on goal?
Well,
instead of 12?
That's the problem. 25 shots the last 2 games. That's almost impossible. You're not going to win a lot of games shooting the puck 12 times. Are you concerned, though, because at some point does the levee break because you're putting so much pressure on your goalie to be perfect? In Montreal,
Jakub Dobeš, well, he's been great all postseason, so I don't think it's an anomaly that he's been as good as he has.
But at some point it's like you're putting everything on him to be so insanely good. How about you pick him up one time? Yeah, give him a little goal support. I'm very curious about the approach for Martin St. Louis. We played the clips yesterday, and I have to tell you, for like a head coach with his back against the wall, I thought it was refreshing, to be honest. Like, it's not good. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. I'm not happy. This is where we're at. I thought it was he didn't try to put lipstick on the pig. He acknowledged where they were. No, but Mike Palm put it well earlier that they've tried to make adjustments. They've discussed making adjustments. They have yet to make any adjustments. The only game that they really had life was Game 1 when Carolina had just come off the longest rest we have seen ever at this point in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So they were rusty. They didn't show up. They were a step behind. Montreal was able to get through the neutral zone and do whatever they wanted. But since Carolina got back into playoff rhythm in that second game of the series and started clogging up the neutral zone, getting on their forecheck, it's been a different series. And I know Montreal fans feel like, oh, we're just a shot away and we could have been up 3-0. Well, you're not. And you were outplayed in those games, and you lost those games. In Game 4, we finally saw the goal-scoring differential
play out the way the game was played. And the shots in that game, 44-18, shot attempts 95-45. And you mentioned how, like, it's got to be historically bad what Montreal has done shooting-wise the last 3 games. It is. Since these stats were tracked in 1959, we have never seen this few shots on goals combined over 3. Carolina had 44 shots on goal in game 4. Montreal's combined for 43 the last 3.
It's crazy. It's almost impossible. I don't know. There's something about the Road Warriors. Shout out to Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom. A little bit before your time. But I do think being 7-3 on the road, to just let you know, they play free and loose for some reason away from Montreal. And let's also be very clear. I know our Canadian listeners don't like when I do it, but I've been doing it every year I've been on the network, which is a long time now, 5 years. If Montreal does not win the Cup, once again, the Cup will remain in the United States of God bless America. We are better at the thing you care the most about in hockey.
I was a year old the last time Canada had a Cup.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kirk Muller.
That's crazy.
Kirk Muller's not walking through that door.
It's crazy to think about. So, obviously, yes, you mentioned Montreal being better away from Bell Center than they have been at home. They have been great in a bounce back as well. And I did just confirm, yes, this is the first time Montreal has lost 3 in a row since November. So they have been really good in the responding era. I do worry that the gas in the tank is it's coming to an end. It's running out, and Carolina is ready to get back in the Cup final. They, this week, have won more games in the Eastern Conference Final than they have the last 20 years, okay? They are ready to cement their ticket and get there, and they have an opportunity to do it on home ice today. That said, a few other angles I think could be worth approaching. For those of you who have been listening to Jonathan Davis here on the network and following some of these first period trends, Montreal has played 11 straight overs in the first period now this postseason, including 4 straight in the series. Even last game, when you thought you were dead in the water, Carolina comes out and scores 3 goals in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, so it continues to hit there. Goal in the first 10 obviously didn't cash that game, but that ended a run of what was 10 straight games for that to come home as well. I have been betting unders all postseason on Carolina. I know Mike Palm, when he joined us a little bit earlier, said he finds it hard to do in these end of series situations. I disagree, and we've seen in both of the Game 7s that Montreal has played to this point, both of those were lower scoring games. Carolina, 10 of their 12 games this postseason have had 5 or fewer goals scored. Freddie, as much as I want to knock him, he does have a 1.44 goals against in this thing. He's been great this postseason. He's come up with the saves that you need. And Jakub Dobeš, this is the thing I wanted to ask you about. So you weren't with us the other day when I was making the argument for Jakub Dobeš saves prop. We talked about all these shots on goal for Carolina, right? Dobeš has been great. It was 27.5 in Game 4, and I was kicking myself I didn't bet it. It's 29.5 today. But given how Carolina has come out shooting, and that's just part of their game, it's not like it's going to be an unusual situation in a potential closeout game that would change.
Well, I think the question you have to ask yourself at that point is, what do you think the approach for Montreal is? Like,
they're going to be firing too.
Yeah, so if you think that they're going to sacrifice some defense in the name of offense, that could create more shot opportunities on the other side for Carolina and then go over that total.
Sure. So that's an angle, I think. I think Dobeš saves is an angle. Freddie Andersen's saves under have also been a cash cow because of what Montreal has done. That said, number's 18.5.
I know, but it's desperation mode.
And it's desperation, yes.
If your season is on the line and you don't get 20 to 25 shots on goal, break it up. Fire St. Louis. Like, how can you not do something different tonight?
I genuinely feel like if there was ever a time to bet the over on that prop, it would be tonight. I just don't think I can get there. Like,
No,
I get
it. I get it.
I'm also in a unique position too. I have Carolina minus the 1.5 games, so I'm kind of just sitting back and like
stay where you are.
Yeah.
No. I don't
want to get over. I don't want to get like too overzealous on one game, but I know other people at home are listening and trying to find angles, so trying to talk through it a little bit.
Real quick before we let you go, since we've got the Golden Knights waiting.
Well, I'm still here for another half hour, but
the segment. That was a very JVT move of you right there. I'm not gonna. He's rubbed off on you in the wrong ways. You're supposed to rub off on him.
I'm sorry. That's certainly not working. You should see some of our mentions.
The sarcasm. Yeah. Okay, real quick. VGK waiting, Conn Smythe. Is there someone you think is kind of like a sexy, fun play right now to get ahead of the Conn Smythe?
So maybe this is something that we can talk about a little bit later. And I don't even want to say it's like a sexy, fun pick, but the number disparity doesn't make sense to me. Pavel Dorofeev is tied for the lead in goals in this postseason. And at DraftKings, he's 50-1, and already you're like, okay, that could be a fun bet. At FanDuel, he's 250-1.
Whoa!
That just doesn't make any sense. That the guy who has the most goals in the payoffs is 250-1. We can discuss that more a little bit later. Do want to remind you though, if you haven't checked out Just Win Bets Baby, now's the time. Your premier source for daily sports betting picks. Check out that QR code on your screen, or head over to justwinbetsbaby.com today to start betting smarter. Just Win Bets Baby. The name says it all.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, Stormy, Buonantony, Dustin, Swedelson with you. Big result last night on the Hardwood. We're headed to Game 7, ladies and gentlemen, in the Western Conference Final. This is what everyone has been clamoring for, although I will say it's looked a little bit different than I anticipated. To help us break it all down, Zach Cohen joins us here on the Progressive Guest Line, as he usually does on a Friday. VSiN senior editor, host of the Hardwood Handicappers podcast. You can follow him on X as well, at Betting on X. And what have you made of this series? Because Game 1, we have the double overtime instant classic, and we're like, oh yeah, give me 7 of this. And then it hasn't quite been that, but we are getting 7.
Yeah, I could have done without 6 of what we have seen lately. I agree with you. Like, it was something that we were all excited for. We all wanted 7 games, but it has been actually a terrible series to watch. I mean, it's fun seeing these teams kind of adjust night by night and see what they have to throw at one another after these losses. But I am hoping that the series kind of ends with a really good game. I did already cancel dinner plans, which my wife was not happy about because this Game 7 is on.
You only got a couple more weeks, Mrs. Cohen. We're almost there. We're in the home stretch, okay? So we're looking at Game 7 right now, Zach. Thunder laying 3 and a hook, total 212.5, which Stormy and I both kind of in the same situation, thinking that might be a little bit of an overreaction. Thunder, though, on the road versus home, very different in the postseason. 4-3 against the spread, last 2 road postseasons for them. At home, where they come back for Game 7, 8-2 against spread overall off a loss, 7-0 against spread off a loss at home. What are you thinking about for Game 7 here?
Yeah, so I have a huge play on the Thunder to win the title, so I really don't want to add anything to this game. I actually do think that, like, Game 6 was the first time I looked at these two teams and said, you know what, San Antonio might actually be the better team. I mean, if Jalen Williams is going to look like he did in Game 6 or anything close to it, the Thunder are the worst team in this series, and you're just kind of looking at talent. I mean, this is a team that just doesn't have a lot of secondary creation outside of SGA, and SGA looks really, really tired out there, which I think is just, you know, the accumulation of having to do everything without Chet Holmgren stepping up and helping him, without J-Dub being there to help him, and now without AJ Mitchell being there to help him. So if SGA doesn't play a lot better, I do think this is going to go the way of the Spurs. And I said, if you like San Antonio, I'd probably be looking at some alternate spreads. I feel like this is a series where the Thunder are really at risk of letting it slip away in a big way.
Well, honestly, does it feel like that's the way you should approach it on either side? Like, if you think OKC can get it done or you think San Antonio can, look at some of those alternate spreads, because the way we've seen these last 5 games separate, it has been kind of a blowout one way or another. The spread hasn't mattered.
I'm kind of at the point where I think if San Antonio loses, it'll be a close game, but if they win, I think it'll be big. I don't think San Antonio is just going to go out there and get obliterated. I just feel like they've looked, I don't know, like hungrier. It feels weird to say that, but that backcourt really ate against OKC last game, and it's just starting to look like the Thunder do not have enough, you know, perimeter options right now. Like I said, if Jalen Williams plays a little bit better, talked about this on Hardwood Handicappers as well. If he plays better, if Chet plays better, if SGA kind of wakes back up, maybe we see OKC come out and win by, you know, dominant fashion, but don't really see it happening anymore. I haven't felt this like lack of confidence in OKC in a really long time.
If I forced you to start thinking about player props you'd consider in this one, is it just Wemby hoping he takes over in this situation? Is it SGA maybe being a free throw merchant? Because I got to tell you, figuring out the game flow at times is kind of the key here. Role players better at home. We've seen Alex Caruso look awesome in certain moments, also coming off not a great game for him. So if I had you find like 2 or 3 guys you're thinking about here, player props, what's on your mind?
So I have 2. I really like De'Aaron Fox over 5.5 assists at -105. I just feel like even with Harper and Castle playing as well as they are, they're not going to take Fox out of this game and not play him 30-plus minutes. He's been playing a really good chunk of minutes every single time he's been healthy in this series, and he has had 6-plus assists in 4 of the last 5 games. So I feel like your most experienced ball handler is going to be very important in a Game 7. So I like Fox to have 6-plus assists. The other one I like is Jalen Williams over props. I feel like whether that's 7.5 points, 3.5 assists, or 2.5 rebounds, like those are the numbers I'm seeing right now, or you could just go 13.5 for his PRA. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play 20-plus minutes here. Like, I know they want to be really cautious with him, but there is no season left if you go out there and lose Game 7. I feel like you're going to see him play 20-plus minutes. Kind of wonder if he would have gotten to 15 or 16 minutes if that game was closer, but it does look really bad when you look at the box score from Game 6 and see 1 point in 10 minutes. But I think going back home in a do-or-die game, you see a bigger role and some bigger minutes.
Yeah, and probably makes a little bit of a difference now, too, that he has at least had the opportunity to try to get his legs under him in a game of that magnitude and everything, too. I saw Brian Windhorst mention earlier this morning on ESPN that he suspects Scott Foster will be the official tomorrow. As we talk about the SGA element of this, and he wasn't getting to the line. I mean, everything was kind of just bad for him last night. But only 12 free throws overall for OKC this year. Last night, 95 games played this year. They've only had 5 with fewer. How big of a role do you think officiating could play potentially tomorrow night?
Well, I guess they want a Game 8 if they put Foster on it. I don't know. I do think we're going to see officiating is going to matter a lot. Like, I feel like it's actually been one of the biggest determining factors of each team and each game that we've seen in this series. Like, when OKC is allowed to kind of hook and hold Wemby and Hartenstein's allowed to be physical with him, OKC's been winning this games. And when you see San Antonio allowed to be physical with SGA without throwing him on the line 10 to 15 times, it's been San Antonio that's been able to find a way to win. So we're probably going to figure out very early in this game how it's going to go, which means if you don't want to jump on something early, if you do see the game is being called a little bit softer, I would say to jump on this, the Thunder live. I think that's, something definitely you should keep keeping your eye on.
Let's talk a little finals here real quick, though, Zach, because the New York Knicks find themselves in a situation no one's ever been in before. We're talking about waiting on a third team coming off of Game 7, and this one's for the finals. Hypothetical odds over at DK, Spurs -225, Knicks +185. The other one, the Thunder -265, Knicks +215. I don't know about you, but I went into this thinking, you know what, if, as a Knicks backer and a Knicks fan, I want to see the Spurs. I'm not so sure I don't want to see the Thunder more than the Spurs at this point. Who do you think is the tougher matchup right now?
I think OKC is a really tough matchup for New York. I know that it might look different, with what we've seen these last 7 games, but I just don't think you want a team that's built around an on-ball guard that's as small as Brunson is going up against a Thunder team that is just so good and physical at the point of attack. I feel like OKC can cover New York in a way that San Antonio can't. I feel like we're still going to see Brunson kind of dominate that Spurs backcourt if he goes out there. And I actually think New York has such a big advantage on the wing against San Antonio that I think the Knicks at +185 would be a great price. But leave it to the Knicks to give you like one last reminder that they are the Knicks, because you go into this series like, all right, we finished the Cavs off in 4 games. We can't possibly suffer an injury now. Mitchell Robinson breaks his pinky doing God knows what. And now he's up in the air for that series. It seems like he will be out there for Game 1, but it's just shocking that they suffered an injury when they are the leader in the clubhouse, as you'd say.
So what is the potential impact of that? Because obviously knowing Karl Anthony Towns and the foul issues he's had, he's been an important depth piece for them in that area. A pinky, like, I've never played the position, but I imagine as somebody who is trying to go up for boards and blocks and dunk, that would probably have an impact on you. What do we anticipate the significance of this to be?
I kind of think it's going to be fine just because they're talking about like the worst free throw shooter like imaginable. So let's say he gets fouled. It's not like he's any worse off going to the line. I think he's going to be fine as long as he's willing to get in there and be aggressive on the glass. So I do think it's just going to be, completely fine and a non-story. It just was funny that it happened that way. But I do kind of think that it was interesting that like you heard a lot of kind of experts and, doctors come out and say that if it was surgery he needed, he'd maybe be out a month. And if it wasn't surgery, he'd only be out a week. He ended up getting the surgery, but they still said he's going to be out there for game 1.
I'm told there's tennis happening in France. What do you like coming up next?
There's a lot of tennis happening in France. The matches have been absolutely insane. On the men's side, like you're going to have like a ball kid winning at this point. It gets insane. We've already seen Yannick Sinner eliminated, Ben Shelton eliminated, Carlos Alcaraz not playing, Novak Djokovic just lost to Joao Fonseca. So there are opportunities on the futures board if you want to jump in. I'll probably do something over on the website again after today because we've already seen a few more upsets. So head over to vsin.com if you're interested in taking, futures for this tournament. But coming up, I don't know if it's started or if it's about to start. I am taking Quentin Halys, a Frenchman, kind of in a small ladder. Like this is not something you should be risking a lot on, but took him plus 2.5 sets, plus 1.5 sets, and a sprinkle on the money line against Alexander Zverev, which is really just comes down to the fact that Zverev is now the betting favorite to win this tournament. And this is a guy that historically has dealt very, very poorly with pressure and expectations. So I think a lot of people now expect him to go out there and win this thing. I think he's going to be pushed in pretty much every match he plays the rest of the way just because of the inner like kind of demons he has of winning a Grand Slam. He's viewed as the best player in tennis history to not win a major, and that's got to be eating at him mentally a little bit.
And there is still time to get in there. They just went to commercial break with those two warming up, so bet it while you can. Zach, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Zach Cohen, everybody. Make sure you follow him on X at BettingOnX and download, subscribe to the Hardwood Handicappers podcast. He also just mentioned vsin.com/subscribe. It's how you can get all of the daily articles and Zach's picks each and every day as well.
Watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Money Moves, Stormy Buonantony, Dustin Swedelson in for JVT. And remember, the clock is ticking on one of the best VSiN Pro offers we do of the year. Sunday is your last day to get a full year of VSiN Pro, normally $240 for just $199. And when you sign up, get this, we're giving you 2 extra months for free as well. So that's 14 months of VSiN Pro access for the discounted price. All you got to do is use the promo code PRO when you sign up. That'll get you the daily best bets from all of our VSiN show hosts and guests, real-time bet splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop tools, matchup analysis, 24/7 live video, plus all of our special edition betting guides for every major sport throughout the year. The NFL betting guide, guys, will be here before we know it. It's the most comprehensive guide we have all season as well. The offer does expire Sunday, though. Don't wait. vsin.com/subscribe. All right. We're rolling along here. And we were talking in the commercial break about, when we come back to the show and we don't have a guest anymore, we'll go back to Conn Smythe and all of that. And I ended up seeing a tweet during the break from John Tortorella, just looking ahead to the Stanley Cup final, when he was asked about the break that they're going to be on, because even if the Carolina Hurricanes win tonight, right, it's still Tuesday that they get underway, so it's a pretty long layoff, especially for a team that's been peaking at the right time and has all this momentum coming off the sweep of Colorado. He said, it's a lot, John Tortorella that is, it's a lot of days. It worries the crap out of me. We have a plan to give us the best chance we can, but I worry if we lose our edge a little bit, this is a big disadvantage. We needed a break, but this is a big break.
Okay, we in the media are constantly begging for those of the players, the coaches, the teams that we cover to be honest, transparent, give us a quote. But here's what I would say is, if I was in that locker room, I'd be like, hey, man, you're our leader. Can you lie a little bit? Say, we have a great plan to keep our guys fresh. We have really new, innovative ways to make sure that we're hitting our stride when it matters. Look, I know it's a concern for other people. We're built differently. if in 1776 George Washington was like, you know what, guys, I'm a little bit concerned because we haven't heard from the British in a few weeks. We've kind of gotten soft resting. We're not really in the same mode to take care of business. We'd all be drinking tea and speaking with an English accent right now. I'm a bit concerned with the honesty. How about this? Say, we've got it covered. We've looked at every possible situation. We know we'll be fine for game one. Give me a little bit of confidence, John.
You're ridiculous. He did. I'll say he followed it up with, I thought today's practice was outstanding. I told the coaches I feel better now than I did before practice. So there was some positivity that creeped in.
I like that, but I also don't love my leader doubting me going into the Stanley Cup final. What are we doing?
Also worth noting, Braden McNabb was not on the ice for practice today, assuming that it's nothing serious. Ben Hutton filled in on the lines. Everything else status quo for Vegas as they have gotten healthy now. Mark Stone's back. William Karlsson's back. Everybody's looking and feeling good, so it seems. But obviously the opponent still to be decided tonight. When we do get into the Conn Smythe element of this, though, Mitch Marner is unbettable now. It was fun while it lasted, and that's why we were talking so much about him when he was available at 12-1, and even when the odds started getting cut down to 7-1, you're like, hey, if Vegas is going to do this against Colorado, he is the bet to make. He's plus 165 to plus 180 in the market right now, which is only like a 15 to 20 cent difference for what Vegas is to win it all. I mean, that's based on, of course, like assuming Carolina is going to be their opponent on the other side.
And let's also discuss the track record for the player you're looking to bet at a super short price.
Sure.
I'm not saying he's not going to hit. I'm just saying he has not come up big in a lot of moments. Now, most of that obviously was with Toronto here, and this has been a little bit different in the postseason. Why should you believe when the spotlight is on him in an even greater way that that's worth looking at this point in time? I think you have the right mindset. I think we're going deeper down the board. Yeah. I don't really keep up with it, so whoever you say right now, I will be betting it right now.
Well, I do want to say shout out to Patrick Kelly, who tweeted at us, said, didn't hesitate. Dorofeev, 250-1. Pavel Dorofeev
200. I got 60-1 here. I got to find a better book.
So that's what I told you. Shop around, because that's why I did this Conn Smythe odds comparison today, just to show you guys the difference of opinion and like bets that have been taken in at these books, because you said 60-1 there. DraftKings has 50-1 on Pavel Dorofeev. FanDuel is still available at 250-1. So Patrick Kelly bet that. He said didn't hesitate on Dorofeev, slightly hesitated on Hart, who is 19-1 right now.
I don't see it. I'm not trying to get political here, but the people who are voting for this award, I feel like they have a mindset that will limit them being open-minded to him winning the award. I am not saying anything about what went on in his past, whether one side is right, whether one side is right. I think because it is such a murky, cloudy situation, they're not going to give it to him and reward him. Like, just think about the legacy of the Wikipedia page, where you have all these negative things that have happened, whether he did or didn't do it. It's either something, it's something that's going to be hanging over it. You also don't want that to be a talking point of this award that you voted for going back in history in time after this thing happened. So I just don't see Carter Hart being a guy that they're going to give the award to.
I'm in total agreement with you. That's why it's just something I couldn't pull the trigger on, no matter how masterful he has been, and he has been awesome. This is a guy who had like an 880 save percentage the first 4 games of the postseason against Utah. And, I mean, the team at large looked bad to start the postseason against the Mammoth. But he has turned into a guy that's basically got a save percentage around 940. He's been unbelievable. He's had timely saves. He's a massive reason why the Golden Knights are in the position they are. I just can't get there. And I was telling you earlier, I'm a Golden Knights fan, right? I live here in Vegas. The people that follow me and that I follow are largely pro-Vegas, so I don't get a lot of the Golden Knights, like, hatred on my feed in general.
Do people hate them?
Yeah. Yes,
oh, they do?
Very much so.
Because they're privileged?
Because we're spoiled.
No, they're not spoiled. They're privileged. There's a difference. Spoiled means like you ask for things and you get them. They're privileged. It just happened to fall into their lap this way.
I mean, it was like a great story year one, and then the fact that they have been annually, with the exception of 1 year in the playoffs every single season since, 5 Western Conference finals, headed to a 3rd Stanley Cup final. People are pretty ticked off about it. That said, I don't see a lot of that mess on my feed. And the fact that I've seen as much negativity directed toward Carter Hart on my feed tells me that this is a wider spread thing and that voters just don't want to have that type of social negativity attached to their name.
This is what we do all the time. We say, in order to handicap awards, you have to handicap the voters. I think this one's even more simple. You're handicapping it one of two ways. This is a thing, or this isn't a thing.
Yeah.
If you think it's a thing, you do not bet him. If you don't think it's a thing, then you bet on him. It's simple as that.
So I think Marner's going to win, which is why I have a 12-1, and I don't have to worry about it. But so that's what I'm saying. That's not who I would add. If I didn't have anything in the market right now, I would add a 250-1 tiny play on Pavel Dorofeev, and I would find a way to bet Jack Eichel as another option. Because in terms of what he has done for the course of the postseason to this point, he's only 3 points back of Mitch Marner. He is a guy that if he gets the goal scoring to happen for him, because the bulk of his work has been in the assist game to this point, he's a facilitator. If he starts scoring goals in the Stanley Cup final, that could be a differentiator for him as well. Marner, the thing for me, though, and why I hope my 12-1 cash is for him, he has the narrative, he has the goal scoring, he has the closeout game scoring.
The story.
The story, but also like he's been an impact on all areas of the ice, even shorthanded. He's had primary assists on all those goals. So
you're 12-1, not boring. Plus 165.
Boring.
Wouldn't
if
even
you're
sniff
if you're
it.
firing on anybody, in my opinion, and you think Vegas can win, it's Pavel Dorofeev and it's Jack Eichel. It's not Carter Hart or Mitch Marner.
I'm finding someone, because Boyd out here is FanDuel. For some reason, they don't have Conn Smythe up. I don't know why. I'm finding someone to get down for me on Dorofeev. I love that number.
We've only got 2 minutes left. Cruise through your bets to recap for the people what you got on the diamond tonight.
The Atlanta Braves over 5.5. Team total, plus $1.10 against Chris Paddock and the Reds. We're going Twinkies, plus $1.18 at the Buccos. Jared Jones' first start. Taj Bradley has been a revelation this year. Give me Minnesota. Mets, Marlins, under 7.5. Max Meyer owns the Mets. They're not scoring runs, 1.57 over their last 7. We're also going under. Royals, Rangers, 8. I love the under here. Stephen Kolek's coming off a complete game shutout of the Seattle Mariners. Mackenzie Gore facing a Kansas City offense, 29th in runs per game, 30th on the road. Logan Webb, we're going player prop, over 4.5 strikeouts at plus 109. Zach Wheeler, our last play of the day, under 5.5 strikeouts at plus $1.15. Those are the baseball bets for the day.
Beautiful.
I have not decided if I'm going to take that 2-1 on the Canadians yet.
Okay, I have the loser yesterday laying the 3.5 with OKC. I don't know what I'm going to do yet tomorrow in Game 7. I know you want to bet San Antonio.
I do, but look, I've been prisoner of the moment the last 2 games. I wanted to take Oklahoma City. That let me down.
I'm feeling like you and Zach are too Thunder negative, that maybe I just need to go back to the well. And maybe, like we were saying earlier, that recency bias, we just need to put that away. Slate's clean.
But it's Game 7. It doesn't matter. It's all on the line. There is no tomorrow.
I think OKC. I haven't played it yet, but I think I might go back to the well on the Thunder.
I'm also wishful thinking as a Knicks fan. I'd rather see the Spurs because of the experience, but although I may not want to see the Spurs, they look awesome last night.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Dustin, you're awesome. Thanks for filling in the last couple days.
This is based on my schedule. I believe we're doing this a few more times.
Let's go. JVT will be back on Monday, though, just in time for the NBA Finals. Would you look at that? Have a great day, everybody. Follow the money coming up next.